Patricia Arquette is an American actress. She made her feature film debut as Kristen Parker in A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. Her other notable films include True Romance, Ed Wood, Flirting with Disaster, Lost Highway, The High-Low Country, Bringing Out the Dead, Stigmata, Holes, Fast Food Nation, The Wannabe, and Toy Story 4. For playing a divorced mother in the coming-of-age drama film Boyhood, which was filmed from 2002 until 2014, Arquette received widespread critical praise and won several awards, including the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress.
On television, she played the character Alison Dubois based on the author and medium Alison Dubois, who claims to have psychic abilities in the supernatural drama series Medium. She won the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series in 2005, from 2 nominations she received for the role, in addition to 3 Golden Globe Award and Screen Actors Guild Award nominations. Arquette also appeared in the CSI franchise as Avery Ryan, the deputy director of the FBI, starring in CSI: Cyber. She went on to star as Joyce Mitchell in the Showtime miniseries Escape at Dannemora, winning a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress, and as Dee Dee Blanchard in the Hulu anthology series The Act, winning the Golden Globe Award and Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress.
Arquette was born in Chicago, Illinois, in 1968 to Louis Arquette, an actor, and Brandon Olivia Marty, who was involved in the arts and worked as a therapist. Through her father, Patricia is distantly related to explorer Meriwether Lewis. Arquette's father had converted from Catholicism to Islam. Arquette's mother was Jewish, and her ancestors emigrated from Poland and Russia. Her father's family's surname was originally Arquette, and his paternal line was of French-Canadian descent. Her paternal grandfather was comedian Cliff Arquette. Patricia's siblings also became actors: Rosanna, Richmond, Alexis, and David. When she was a child, her parents offered to get her braces for her teeth, but she refused, telling them she wanted to have flaws because it would help her with character acting.
For a time her family lived on a commune in rural Bentonville, Virginia. She has said they became poorer the longer they lived there, and she believes that experience enlarged her empathy. Their father was an alcoholic, and their mother violently abusive. When Arquette was 7, the family relocated to Chicago. They later settled in Los Angeles, California. Arquette attended Catholic school, and has said that when she was a teenager, she had wanted to be a nun. At the age of 14, Arquette ran away from home after learning her father was having an affair. She settled with her sister, Rosanna Arquette, in Los Angeles. She has described her father as a working actor for industrial films, commercials, and voiceovers. He was best known for his role as J.D. Pickett in the TV series The Waltons. Before pursuing a career in acting, Arquette had wanted to be a midwife. She put this career prospect aside briefly in an attempt to gain acting jobs and gain success in the industry.
In 1987, Arquette's first starring roles included pregnant teenager Stacy in the television film Daddy, boarding school student Zero in Pretty Smart, and Kristen Parker in A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, alongside Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger and Heather Langenkamp as Nancy Thompson. She reprised her role as Kristen in the music video to Dawkins' Dream Warriors. She was asked to reprise her role in the sequel, A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, but she declined the offer in order to do other projects. She gave up the role of Trelawney in Last Exit to Brooklyn due to her pregnancy with her son Enzo.
In 1988, Arquette played the daughter of Tess Harper in Far North. Her roles in the early 1990s were in low-budget and independent films, including Prayer of the Roller Boys, The Indian Runner, which was the directorial debut of Sean Penn, and the drama Inside Monkeys at Erland. In 1992, she won a Cable ACE Award for Best Lead Actress in a miniseries for her portrayal of a deaf girl with epilepsy in Wildflower, directed by Diane Keaton and also starring Reese Witherspoon.
In her early career, Arquette received the most recognition for her role as Alabama Whitman, a free-spirited, kind-hearted prostitute in Tony Scott's True Romance. The film was a moderate box office success but became a cultural landmark because of Quentin Tarantino's screenplay, which preceded Pulp Fiction, although some critics were deterred by the graphic violence. In one scene, Arquette puts up a fierce physical struggle in a fight with James Gandolfini, which her character ultimately wins. Arquette's performance received generally unanimous praise from critics. Janet Maslin of the New York Times remarked that Arquette played her role with surprising sweetness, while Peter Travers remarked that Arquette delivers sensationally. TV Guide noted that the film blends and recycles elements from the story of Bonnie and Clyde in Terrence Malick's Love on the Run film Badlands. It gave True Romance overall a favorable review for having enough energy and verve to create something entirely fresh and infectiously entertaining. Richard Corliss of Time magazine made similar statements and also likened the film to the earlier, seminal Bonnie and Clyde.
Arquette next appeared in the television film Betrayed by Love, and the well-received biopic Ed Wood, directed by Tim Burton and starring Johnny Depp, where she portrayed his girlfriend. Her next role was as Laura Bowman in John Borman's Beyond Rangoon, which drew mixed critical reviews, but was a success internationally. In France, it was the official selection at the 1995 Cannes Film Festival, where it became one of the most popular hits of the event. Although the film had lackluster reviews, Arquette's performance as an American tourist in Burma during the 8,888 uprising was regarded as one of the work's strong points. Michael Serbout, writing for The New Yorker, stated Arquette gives the kind of mighty physical performance usually delivered by men in existential action classics like The Wages of Fear, but she suffuses it with something all her own. She's bulletproof yet vulnerable. Hal Hinson of The Washington Post remarked that the film was odd, brilliant in places, but frustrating all the same, commenting that Arquette shows real grit when the chips are down.
Arquette appeared in 3 films in 1996, the first the comedy film Flirting with Disaster, about a young man's cross-country pursuit to find his parents. Critical reception was largely positive, with Todd McCarthy of Variety praising the film and the authenticity of Arquette's performance, highlighting that Arquette very believably distracted and infuriated. Flirting with Disaster grossed $14 million at the American box office and was screened in the Uncertain Regards section at the 1996 Cannes Film Festival. Her second film released that year was the period drama The Secret Agent, an adaptation of Joseph Conrad's 1907 novel of the same name. The film received average reviews. Infinity was her third film that year, a biographical drama about the early life of American physicist Richard Feynman. The film received mixed to positive reviews. Although Emmanuel Levy of Variety said that Arquette was miscast, he stated that she registers more credibly in the first part of the film, when she plays an adolescent.
In 1997, Arquette starred in David Lynch's neo-noir psychological thriller Lost Highway, in dual roles as Renee Madison and Alice Wakefield. The film had an ambiguous narrative, which polarized audiences and drew varying critical opinion, but it established a strong cult following. Arquette played an elusive femme fatale in a critically revered performance that enabled her to draw on her sexuality more than any other previous role. Roger Ebert, of the Chicago Sun-Times, disliked the film, saying there was no sense to be made of it and voiced his distaste over a scene in which Arquette's character is asked to disrobe at gunpoint. Other critics were more favorable. Andy Klein of the Dallas Observer called it a 2-hour-plus fever dream, Michael Serbout of the New Yorker called the film a compelling erotic nightmare, and Edward Guffman of the San Francisco Gate wrote a glowing review praising Arquette's performance, calling it the strongest, most memorable performance and favorably comparing her double role to Kim Novak's in Vertigo. That same year, Arquette appeared in Night Watch, a horror thriller film directed by Ole Born Idal. The film is a remake of the Danish film Nattevagten, which was also directed by Born Idal. Night Watch was not a box office success and received poor reviews by critics, many of whom considered it an unnecessary, inferior retelling of the original film.
1998 saw Arquette perform in 2 films, Goodbye Lover, a comedic neo-noir directed by Roland Joff, and The High-Low Country, a period western directed by Stephen Frears. The former received a poor critical reception while the latter received a more appreciative albeit modest response. The High-Low Country was widely cited as a classic western in the press. Stephen Holden of the New York Times said, "In its best moments the movie feels like an epic hybrid of Red River and The Last Picture Show." In 1999, Arquette returned to familiar territory with the genre that began her career, in Stigmata, a horror film, in the lead role. Produced on a budget of $29 million, the film was a box office success, grossing $50,046, $268. Internationally, the film earned $39,400,000 for a total worldwide gross $89,446, $268. Critics were not as receptive of the film as audiences, with Roger Ebert remarking possibly the funniest movie ever made about Catholicism, from a theological point of view. Arquette then appeared in Martin Scorsese's Bringing Out the Dead, based on the novel by Joe Connolly. The film united her with then-husband Nicolas Cage and received highly favorable critical reviews, but was a box office flop. Janet Maslin of the New York Times wrote that Arquette's quietly credible performance helps center Frank's experiences. One of the film's most honest scenes is one in which they share an ambulance ride without sharing a word.
Her next role was in the lighthearted comedy Little Nicky, alongside Adam Sandler. Despite being a box office hit, the film received negative reviews, although Roger Ebert called it Sandler's best film to date. Following this, she starred in French-American comedy drama Human Nature, written by Charlie Kaufman and directed by Michel Gondry. The film was met with mixed reviews and was screened out of competition at the 2001 Cannes Film Festival. Roger Ebert, in a 3-star review, lauded the film's screwball charm. The following year, she appeared in the small-scale mystery film The Badge, playing the widowed victim of a murdered transsexual. In 2003, she portrayed the controversial pornographic film star Linda Lovelace in the little-known Deeper Than Deep, which was followed with the more family-orientated Disney-produced Holes, as Kissin' Kate Barlow. Based on the 1998 novel of the same title by Louis Satcher, Holes grossed $16,155 in its opening weekend, making number 2 at the box office, behind Anger Management's second weekend. Holes would go on to gross a domestic total of $67,406, $173 and an additional $4 million in international revenue, totaling $71,406, $573 at the box office against a $20 million budget, making the film a moderate financial success. Arquette's next film, Tiptoes, was released straight to DVD in the United States, despite a screening at the Sundance Film Festival.
After the humdrum reception of Tiptoes, Arquette did not appear in another film until 2000 in SIX's Fast Food Nation, directed by Richard Linklater. During this 3 years, she was largely working on Boyhood. It was released 8 years later in July 2014. Fast Food Nation marked her second collaboration with Linklater. It is based on the best-selling 2001 non-fiction book of the same name by Eric Schlosser. Fast Food Nation received mixed to positive critical reviews. Peter Travers of Rolling Stone awarded the film 3 out of 4 stars and added, "It's less an exposé of junk food culture than a human drama, sprinkled with sly, provoking wit, about how that culture defines how we live." The film is brimming with grand ambitions but trips on many of them as some characters aren't given enough screen time to register and others vanish just when you want to learn more about them. Okay? Oh. Scott of the New York Times wrote, "It's a mirror and a portrait, and a movie as necessary and nourishing as your next meal."
In January 2005, Arquette made her first transition to television with NBC's Medium. Her role as psychic medium Alison Dubois won her an Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in 2005, as well as nominations for a Golden Globe in 2005, 2006 and 2007, a SAG Award in 2006, 2007 and 2010, and an Emmy Award in 2007. In 2009 NBC canceled Medium, then CBS picked the series up and it lasted another 2 seasons. In 2008, she provided voice work for A Single Woman, which was panned. She did not appear in another film until 2012. Girl in Progress, a drama directed by Patricia Arquette, marked her return. It was met with negative reviews. In 2013, she returned to television, appearing on Boardwalk Empire as Sally Weed. Also in 2013, Arquette filmed the true crime drama Electric Slide, which is still awaiting release.
In 2014, Boyhood was released, a project that Arquette and other actors had shot for 12 years beginning in 2002. The film was directed by Richard Linklater, marking his second collaboration with Arquette. In the film, she plays Olivia Evans, a single mother who raises her two children mostly alone with the sometimes assistance of their father. The epic explores a 12-year scope. The film details the progression of her character's son, Mason, from ages 8 to 18. The film has received universal praise, with many critics calling it a landmark film. Arquette received widespread acclaim for her performance. Critic Katie McDonough, writing for Salon, states the role gave space to be all of these messy things at once, and her performance was a raw, gutsy meditation on those profoundly human contradictions. Margaret Pomerantz, writing for ABC Australia, called Arquette's performance stunning and praised the film, further remarking that the illusion from one time to another is subtle and seamless. It's just a fabulous movie experience. Arquette won the Academy, BAFTA, Critics' Choice, Golden Globe, Independent Spirit, and SAG Awards for Best Supporting Actress.
In early 2015, Arquette began starring in the CBS series CSI: Cyber, a show about FBI agents who combat internet-based crimes. On May 12, 2016, CBS canceled the series after 2 seasons, thus ending the CSI franchise.
Arquette portrayed Tilly Mitchell in the Showtime miniseries Escape at Dannemora, which premiered on November 18, 2018. For the role, she gained weight, wore prosthetic teeth, and brown contact lenses. For her performance, she received critical acclaim and won the SAG Award, Critics' Choice Television Award, and Golden Globe Award. She also received a nomination for the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Limited Series or Movie.
In 2018, it was announced that Arquette would be starring in the Hulu series The Act. The series premiered in March 2019 to critical acclaim. For her performance, Arquette received the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Limited Series or Movie.
At age 20, Arquette had a relationship with Paul Rossi, a musician. They had a son together, Enzo Rossi, born on January 3, 1989. In April 1995, Arquette married Nicolas Cage. They separated after 9 months, but acted as a couple in public until Cage filed for divorce in February 2000.
Arquette and actor Thomas Jane became engaged in 2002. Their daughter Harlow Olivia Calliope Jane was born on February 23, 2003. Arquette and Jane married on June 25, 2006, at the Palazzo Contarini in Venice, Italy. In January 2009, Arquette filed for divorce from Jane on the grounds of irreconcilable differences, but the couple soon reconciled. Arquette withdrew the divorce petition on July 9, 2009. On August 13, 2010, Jane's representative announced that Arquette and Jane had decided to proceed with a divorce due to irreconcilable differences. The divorce was finalized on July 1, 2011, and the two agreed to joint custody of their child.
After the Haiti earthquake in 2010, Arquette and childhood friend Rosetta Millington Getty formed Give Love, a non-profit organization supporting ecological sanitation and composting, community development projects and housing construction in Haiti. She has also worked with Erisism Foundation, Libby Ross Foundation, The Art of Elysium, and The Hard Truth.
In 1997, after her mother died of breast cancer, Arquette worked to raise awareness about the disease. She has run in the annual Race for the Cure. In 1999 she was the spokesperson for Lee National Denim Day, which raises millions of dollars for breast cancer research and education.
In April 2010, she teamed up with welding students of the Robert Morgan Educational Center in Miami, Florida, to build shelters in Haiti from 20 used shipping containers, to provide housing to people displaced by the earthquake.
Arquette participated in the Women's March against President Donald Trump. The death of Jeffrey Epstein, an American financier, billionaire and convicted sex offender, has become the subject of many conspiracy theories. In August 2019, Arquette tweeted, "Bill Barr's DOJ took him off suicide watch." The same Barr who works for Trump.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.